make it happen. Kate, thanks so much for hopping on here. Everybody, Kate Troyer, my Feng Shui lady, should be your Feng Shui lady, but she's on here because either yesterday or 2 days ago, she posted a rant about vision boards and how this new year, new me crowd is screwing them up. Kate, obviously you're way nicer than that, but it was a fun
I
rant. I
don't
loved
know.
it.
I'm feeling spicy today, so I don't know if I'll be as nice as I was in my other
I'm
video.
okay with that.
Feeling a little spicy.
But what did you see that was trash? And then what was it I'm not gonna put words in your mouth. What do you not like that you're seeing, and what is how can I correct it if it's the first time I'm
Yeah.
doing a vision board?
Okay, so we're at the time of year where like everyone is posting pictures of their vision boards, which remind me of something that I want to talk about, sharing your vision board with people. I
Okay.
want to mention that because I think that's important. If you're doing it right. So I just keep seeing all these people posting their vision boards, and they're like, a lot of times they're pretty small, which, okay, but like, why is your life so small? We want big life, right? If we're doing a
Yeah.
vision board, we're envisioning our future. Don't we want like more than a little piece of paper?
Right.
But I just see that they're like so fucking empty.
Yeah.
There's so much void space all over the vision board. And I realize that, some people probably like take their vision board home from the class that they went to. And maybe they add to it, but I would probably put money on the fact that they never add anything else to it. Right.
Right.
I feel like
Right.
it's become, and I will say that the last, not this year, but 2 previous years, I did host I called it a vision workshop. And we went through all the internal stuff first.
Yeah.
Then they created their vision boards. But because I kind of like have shifted my tune around vision boards a little bit this year, I decided I didn't want to host anything. Um, partly because of this, partly because I just wasn't really in the mood, to be honest, this year. And I think the energy of 2023 and then into 24 is just different.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of why I just was like, yeah, it's like, I'm not going to do it this year. I might do it, in the future, depending on like how I feel about it.
Sure.
But I just see these really vague boards, right? And that's one thing that like, it just like, it fucking like irks me. Because one, I know it's like it's become like just a thing to do now.
Right.
Right.
Right. Check the
And
box, new year, vision board. Okay, cool,
yes,
done. And now I'm going to put it wherever, at work or at home. And
yes.
you're going to look at it and be like, okay, neat.
It's not that inspiring, right? You spend a couple hours, chit-chatting with people, maybe you don't know, and you're just cutting some shit out of a random magazine and slapping some words on it, and you're like, this is my vision board. And then you're right, you go home, you put it somewhere in your house, like that just doesn't even sound inspiring to me. Like,
Right.
I saw someone the other day, they literally had like 5 teeny tiny pictures and like 10 words, and that was it. That was their vision board for the year. And I just kind of thought, like, why did you even bother?
Right.
And it's not that it's like okay, is getting together to create a vision board a much more like positive get together than like meeting your friends at the bar? Sure.
Sure.
It's not that it's like bad. I guess I don't want to like crap on people. Like, okay, if you had a vision board party, it's
If you have a
okay.
vision board, you're shit. Welcome to 2024. My name's Kate.
Like, it's still a positive, energetic experience, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's not that it's bad, but is it doing anything for you? And to me, the reason that you create the vision board isn't to check something off your 2024 list. It's because you actually want to get clear about the intentions that you're setting for the year, so that you have a space or a thing that you can look at every single freaking day that reminds you of the person you said you wanted to be this year. That reminds you of the experiences that you want to have. And so if you're not putting any thought into that and you just have this super vague board, I just don't really see how at the end of the year you're going to be like, yeah, I achieved everything. Or maybe you did achieve everything because you had 5 pictures and they were so vague. It's easy for you to be like, oh, look at me manifesting my vision. I totally walked on the beach earlier this year and there's a picture of me walking on the beach. Go me.
Nailed it. Nailed it.
And you know what? In talking about it right now, like maybe that's subconsciously what people do is like, they just do these really vague kind of things that like, oh, I know I already have a vacation. It's already planned. So let's go ahead and put that vacation on the board. That's not a vision board.
Right.
That's like a reminder of like something that you're doing later in the year.
Yeah.
So
no, it's on the, so it's essentially like there should be a stark, maybe not a stark difference, but a difference between the goal you're setting and whatever that vision board is. Right. So your vision board, if it's a, hey, I want to accomplish X, Y, or Z. Okay, cool. Is that a dollar amount? Is that a feeling? Is that what is, if it's going to be transformational, I want it to be something that I look at and I'm like, cool. My daily or my monthly or my weekly habits need to reflect whatever that thing is, whatever that person is, whatever I put up here, so that I can actually go do it versus, hey, the beach, and prosperity are my 2 words for 2024.
Those are like reminders. When you look at your vision board, you should feel something physically, right? Because that's how we bring what we want into physical reality is we feel it.
Right.
We're like, that's the point. And I think that's, again, it's like manifestation, law of attraction, vision boards. It's become like, we have such a checklist society. Right. Where it's like, okay, I checked my things off the list. Like, that's not doing anything
now what?
for you.
I feel great because I accomplished the checklist. And that's not the, if you're sitting in the whatever future state is, right? If you can't feel it, right? This is where, hey, if the car's your thing, go sit in the Tesla or the Lambo or the Porsche or the whatever the thing is for you. Go to the dealership, sit in it, feel it, do everything, because now that's completely different than I've got the Lexus on the board.
Yes. Well, so here's something that I think is really important. And this is something I just started incorporating into my vision boards last year. I think this year, my 2024 vision board is the best, like most amazing one I've ever done. And literally, it's not finished yet. But I have it just sitting in my living room. So when I come out of meditation, when I'm watching TV at night, whenever I'm in my living room, it's right in front of my face. Yeah. Right. And something that I started doing a couple of years ago is actually infusing my physical self into my vision board. Right. So whether it was like a full-on picture of me or whether I'm literally like, so what I do is I use just a blank Canva template and I just start putting pictures of things that like, that I'm envisioning for myself. And I'm literally like putting my head on other people's bodies. Like I have a picture of myself on my vision board with Martha Stewart, right? And it literally looks like me and Martha are taking a selfie. So it's much more powerful for me to see that in my subconscious mind to be like, oh, we already met Martha. We took a picture with her. Right. You know what I mean? Rather than just having this picture of Martha Stewart on there where I'm idolizing her and idolizing this experience that's outside of myself. Like that doesn't do anything for my subconscious other than idolize something. Right. Like seeing me with her, like in selfie mode is like, holy shit. Like, I did this already. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it creates this true story for our brain. So I can't emphasize how important I believe it is to infuse yourself in your vision board as much as possible. I put a car on my vision board this year. You want to know what? I took a picture of me, a side profile, and I cut it down. And in Canva, I popped myself in the car. Yeah. Right. Have you sat in the car? Have you sat in said car before? I have. Not this specific one. Not yet.
All good. All good. No, and
I
that's
thought
where
I
like
had, but it was a different one.
okay, no, all good. And that's where the more you do whatever the thing is you're trying to aspire to, right? Like you've got your athletes that have played the game however many thousands of times, actually done it, and then how many times have they rehearsed it in their head? How many times have they gone over the playbook? How many times have they done all of it? Right. So that way when they get out there on the field or the court, I've done this 1,000 times. I don't care if there's 5 seconds on the clock or if we have 20 minutes left on the clock. The play is the play is the play. Right. But
Yep.
it's the feeling for them that they've run through 1,000 times to
Yep.
get to wherever the place is. For okay, so if I've never put myself in the vision board other than so first person actual, hey, what would you see if you were accomplishing whatever the thing was, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Gotcha.
exactly.
Okay. What else
So,
what else were we missing? Because I know that's one, but there were
okay,
three
so
on there.
things that we're missing. I want to, yeah, let's go things that we're missing, and then I'll talk about my process in building a vision board, right?
Okay.
We'll try and keep it not so squirrely. So, all right, so don'ts is like not having yourself in your vision board. Second would be like having open space. Why is there open space on your vision board? Like that thing in my mind should be fucking plastered, covered. Every little inch of space
Right.
needs to be covered. So having blank space on your vision board, no. Another thing, this is something I learned this year. People can argue with me if they want. I think this one makes so much sense. Two, it's so powerful. My dad's girlfriend actually taught me this. Earlier this year, don't put words on your vision board. Okay. Because when we read, that is bringing up our conscious mind, our conscious, normal processing brain reads.
Right.
And that gets in between us and our subconscious mind, right? Our vision board is built for our subconscious because we're putting things on a board that have not happened yet, that we need to make ourselves believe have already happened to achieve it. So adding words to our vision board gets our conscious thinking brain involved. And I'm not saying that like it's going to ruin it, but that just made so much freaking sense to me. And then I did a little bit of like reading about, that and whatnot. And I was like, I freaking love this. And I have to say, like, it's so much more. I started looking at it differently, right? Because often when we have these big words or phrases and things on our vision board, where do your eyes go first when you're looking at a vision board? It goes to the words.
To the words, because they are known and they are a place where I don't have to tell myself a story if I latch onto a word. I can just say, hey, yes. It's whatever, it's prosperity. And you're like, yay, that's a fun thought. Right. But it's not.
But what does that mean to you?
Nothing.
Right. So
right,
what
correct,
really should
correct.
be going on there is you ask yourself, you say, okay, I want to be abundant this year. And then you ask yourself, what does that mean to me? Is it a dollar amount? And then actually, I don't even think dollar amount. I more think of what is my life experience now that I'm abundant? And that is what should be on your vision board. What is my experience now that I met my partner? What is my experience now, that I have the career I want? What does that look like? Right. What does the life experience look like? And then you find pictures, whether through magazines. I didn't use any magazines at all this year. I did everything online, and some of it's AI generated, some of it's stuff I pulled off Google, some of it's from Canva, some of it's, obviously a mix of me, of my face on all these other things. If I want to do more public speaking, should I just have like a stage, or is it more powerful for my brain to see me standing on a stage speaking to people? Because now that says to my brain, we have a picture of it. It's already happened.
It already happened.
Yeah. So we should be taking advantage of all this amazing technology that we have now. Like, if you don't know anything about AI or how to use it, don't use Canva. Everybody can use Canva. You can use it for free. you paste everything on there. So like and what I love about first putting it together in Canva, like it's really sloppy, like what mine looks like. I just have all these pictures on all these different pages, right? And then I print them out, cut them out, whatever.
Yeah.
But now I also have on my computer, on my phone, on my iPad, I have all of that stuff. It's there. Now I have a file that says 2024 vision, right? So it's in multiple places and I'm constantly going back to it. So let's talk about another no is like that you finish your vision board in one sitting.
Right.
Doesn't make
Well,
sense
that's
to me.
also going back to, so when I saw the first vision board that was actually dove into was Steve Harvey at GrowthCon in 19, right? But his like the second half of his whole talk was just on his phone. Like he was walking everybody through, hey, here's what I have, because back then it was, I think people unlocked their phone, whatever, 75 times a day. I'm sure it's way more than that now. But he had his lock screen as the top 5 or 6 things that he wanted to accomplish rolling forward. You have it everywhere, person, or should it like do somewhere, or is that too like is there a too much if it works, I guess is the question.
I don't know if I would say there's too much. Well, yeah, actually, I think I would say there's too much because when we're constantly focusing on something, we never give it time. We never give ourselves time to just let it go and let it work for us.
Sure. Right.
So if we're constantly focusing on it, now constantly focusing on something and constantly just see, because like I'm thinking about the screen on your phone. Like how often do you like really look at that, right? It just kind of, it's subconscious. I really kind of love that thought of putting like main things on a background for your phone. So like I would say one of my things that is like a must now is that I set my vision board up like the Feng Shui, the home energy map, the Bagua map, right? So the thing that people may not know what this is, a Bagua map is a tool used in Feng Shui. It's used on your floor plan, but it represents 8 main aspects of your life. So there's 9 quadrants on the map. So in a square or a rectangle, it's all broken up, evenly. Middle square is you. The other 8 aspects are 8 main areas of your life. And so I start my board out with that because, well, 1, I'm a Feng Shui practitioner. It's what I do. And so that just is kind of natural to me. But 2, it helps me define what main aspects do I need to focus on? Do I need to be thinking about when because like if I'm only thinking about money, like there's so many other aspects of my life that now I'm just disregarding, right? So to me, it makes sure that you have this well-rounded vision and you're addressing all these main aspects of your life. So my thought with the phone background would be like, maybe taking one thing from each one of those 9 quadrants, the biggest thing, and then putting that on the phone background. Like, I really love that. I might actually do that. I think that's a great idea.
If nobody has a clue what she's talking about, we'll link it all in the description, and then we'll chop it up so we actually have like the as you were describing it.
I'll send you like a picture of it.
Yeah. All good.
Perfect.
Where are we going? I'm looking for the feeling, not just the checkbox. Correct.
Yes.
So
you're only looking for the feeling.
Right. So and for everybody in the logical business step by step, this is how things happen world. How do I go from, Kate, this is a bunch of touchy feely bullshit, to, hey, this actually works and I can actually go implement it?
Okay, so here would be my steps. So I think you need to first write out what you want. Like first is clarity. Write it out with the physical words, right? Get clear on what you want. That's why I think, again, using the Bagua map is really nice because it helps us break stuff down. And I do have on my website, it does say on my website that it's for kids and teens because I created this to use in some kids vision workshops that I've done.
Yeah.
But I have clients that use it too. It's a downloadable guide. It's like $4. And it actually has 3 pages that break down each one of the Bagua quadrants and will ask you a question for you to help get you clear on those aspects of your life, right? But even if you don't want to use that, take a page, I would say like 2 or 3 pages in a journal. Maybe you start with 1 page and write out what you want.
Sure.
And when I am thinking about that, I'm writing out, I allow da 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 to happen in my life.
Okay.
I like that. I allow. And especially instead of like, I manifest or I da da da, like stop.
I force this thing to happen and it's supposed, I force it to happen and I overcome and I make it all happen because it's hard. Like it's not hard. It's not hard, everybody.
Right. Exactly. Like stop using, like thinking about all these how to. The point of a vision board and then the point of utilizing manifestation is surrendering control of the how and getting clear about what you want only. And so to me, the point of the vision board too is to reinforce that, right? Like, because when you make the vision board, you might be like, oh my God, like I can't believe I put this on my vision board. Like, who am I to get this? Who am I to want this? But the more you look at it and the more you see it throughout the year, you're going to start to be like, well, of course, right? Because you get so used to seeing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
have you read Vivid Vision by Cameron Herold?
yes, but it's been a little while.
Okay. All right, I'll link that.
I think I did the audio book too.
Yeah. So for people that have never, who have no idea, hey Nick, how do I do this? Or hey Kate, how do I do this? Like there's a whole book dedicated to this where Cameron's done it. I think he's on number 4 or 5 just of his life, writing out the 3-year plan. But he gives you, hey, here is like your first 2/3 of that book is preparing to write, and then that last third is, hey, go sit down, write it, make it as clear as you possibly can. And he's all about writing out.
Yeah, you have
5-6
to, because you have to get clear first. And then once you have that all written out, then you say to yourself, okay, if I have X, Y, and Z, kind of like we talked about earlier, if I have X amount of money, what is my life experience? And now the life experience is what gets put on the board. Because that's where you're going to connect and get those feelings and say, oh my God, like I make X amount of money, which means, you know, I have this specific house. Like I literally even like, I want to, you know, buy a place in a very specific area. And I want a specific type of property because I'm going to be traveling a lot. So like, you know, like I don't need a full house. I want a condo, right? I don't want to have to take care of anything outside. I want it really close to this downtown location. I want that to be walkable. There's not that many places. And a lot of them are like these huge ass townhomes. I'm like, I don't want that. I want like,
I just want to function.
Yeah, this is what I want. So I spent a whole bunch of time on Google, on Zillow, everything, finding the exact thing that I wanted. Like I literally, there's a picture of the front door, the number of the place, a picture of the kitchen, everything. That's what's on my vision board. It's not, I want a townhome in, you know, this area. No. I found the exact place that I want. And then when I look at my board, I think about myself opening. So I did this the other night. All right. So 2 things. And I do want to, we'll talk about this in a minute. So I'm a little like my brain's on fire today.
Oh, you're fine.
So something I did last night is I did a little visualization with myself. So 2 things that I have on my vision board are this specific condo. How did that happen?
No idea.
Oh my God. I'm taking that as confirmation, baby. Let's go.
Perfect.
I don't know what I didn't even touch anything.
No idea. We have balloons in the chat. Let's go, everybody. No clue.
I love it. Okay, so these two very specific things. One, this specific condo, the exact one that I want.
Right.
And two, at some point this year, in divine timing, and
I don't know. We're gonna stay with it.
when I'm ready, there is, I want a Samoyed. It's this type of dog, right?
Okay. Okay.
I lost my dog last year. I haven't been ready for a new one, but like I know that's something that I want in the coming year.
Yeah.
So last night I did a little visualization and I visualized I already have my dog. Like I know
Yeah.
her name and everything. Like I know
Right.
the kind of dog, I know her name, like her personality, it's done.
Yep.
Have her. And I did this visualization of us, like I'm in the car with her and I'm like, we're on our way to our new house, baby. Like, aren't you so excited? And like, you know, having her on the leash and us going up to the door because it's already bought. This is our first night in our place. It's empty. And I open the door and she runs in and we're standing in the kitchen and I'm literally with her and I'm like talking to my dog,
Yeah.
you know, that I doesn't yet live in my physical reality. And
Right.
I'm saying like, oh my God, can you believe this? This was the exact place we wanted. And like, this is so amazing and blah, 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 blah. And I got so freaking excited.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that's what your vision board needs to be able to do for you is set you up for those visualizations. Whether that's when you're sitting in front of your vision board or like driving in your car. This for me was like I was laying down getting ready to go to sleep.
Yeah.
I was having a hard time sleeping. And so I was like, oh, fuck it. I'm just gonna like, you know, play around with the things that I have on my vision board. And that's what popped up for me. And
Yeah.
I was so in that moment, I was so grateful that in my visualization, right? Like I'm like have tears streaming down my face, but I'm also like literally that's happening to me in real life because I'm so
Right.
grateful.
Right. 100%. 100%. And
That's what your vision board should do for you. And if your vision board isn't helping you achieve that,
right.
then your vision board sucks.
Then you're just checking it off. Right. And that's for people that have never done the visualization thing, we did a great one up at Tuck Next Step when I was up there because we had a guy walk us through, hey, here's what we're doing, what does it look like, X, Y, and Z. Right. Like, and I opened my eyes and we were running through walls. We were ready. Right. And the guy next to me was like, you're a different person. I said, nope, I just know exactly what it looks like. Because he was like, this is my first time doing it. And I'd done it a couple times for ball and some other things. But
Mhm.
when he was like, he's like, I have X, Y, and Z. Do you want to go first? I said, hell yes, I do. Right. But it was like a page and a half of here's exactly where it is. Here's what I'm doing. Here's X, Y, and Z. And he's like, how long have you been thinking about this? I was like, about 5 years. Right. So when you figure out, hey, what is your thing? Did that help you sleep at all? Like, were you up ready to rock for the next 4 hours after you did that? That could not have helped you sleep at all.
No, it didn't help me sleep at all. I haven't been sleeping well the last few days. I think this is probably a topic for a way different conversation, but the energy that is in our universe right now is like, I don't even fucking know what's going on. But last night I was up, I was giddy. I was like, before that, and then I'm like, okay, let's get calm. And then that just like kind of popped in my head, like, ooh, let's do this visualization. So I did, and I was like, oh my God, yes! Like me and my dog, we're so happy, you know, like, and I was so pumped. But that's what your vision board should make you feel. And I think that it's like, again, not even that you have to be looking at it, but to have that constant reminder. And so if you're in that vision board, right, like you're seeing yourself with the exact body that you want, you're seeing yourself in the car that you want, you're seeing the home, the exact home that you said you wanted, right? You're seeing yourself on stage or whatever. And I do think it's important that, like, not that you can't share some of your vision boards, but this is also why I'm like rethinking doing in-person vision board parties in the future, is that I don't think you should fully share your vision board with anyone. I think it should be, I mean, maybe like your partner, right? Or people that live in your home, so you don't feel like you have to squirrel it away. But if you don't feel comfortable putting your vision board in front of your partner, that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
Right? That's a totally different
100%.
conversation. But I think that like when we're going to these parties and we're doing things, like we automatically want to cap ourselves because,
Right.
well, I don't want to have a bigger vision, and so I don't want to make someone else feel uncomfortable. Or maybe don't want other people to know that I want X, Y, and Z, or that this is something I'm working on. It should be private.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you're not gonna shrink yourself.
Sure.
You know, and what you want, and you're not gonna be like, well, you know, like, okay, let's say that you're extremely overweight and you put on your vision board this sexy ass body with your head on it. Are you going to want to do that in front of a large group of people or women?
Right.
No.
Right.
You're going to be embarrassed because, you know, but if you do it at home, in the moment of inspiration, this is also why it should take time to build. Take all winter. Winter is for going within and getting clear and figuring things out, right?
Yeah.
So take 3 months if you want to. It doesn't matter, but do it over multiple times when you feel inspired. Like I'm constantly adding to mine when things pop in my head. I'm like, oh yeah, like that's gotta go on there.
Yeah.
Right? Like one random, I literally just before we hopped on here, this is so random, but I put a picture of a gun on my board because something that I've talked to my dad about this, I want to do more of this year, is shoot together. That's something we used to do all the time. Like I grew up doing that with my dad. I haven't done it for several years. And I'm like, you know, like that's something that I want to be a part of my life experience, is like shooting guns with my dad.
Right.
Right. So like that's something that in the moment when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, that's something I want to be constantly reminded about, so that I'm, you know, my brain's going to remind me, hey, like ask dad if he wants to go shoot this weekend or like whatever. Right. So, you know, I mean, and that's like something simple, but I just think that like, you should be inspired when you're creating your board. It shouldn't feel like, oh, I have to do this, or, you know, like, so mine, I've been working on mine now for like a solid month. And just whenever I'm inspired, I put stuff on my Canva board, I print it out, I cut it out, and I pop it on my board, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Was that on the hey, I don't want to cap myself, right? If you're around a bunch of hey, I have this giant vision, right? I go share it with a small-minded person or somebody that doesn't have a clue, right? And they're like, oh, Kate, that's way too big. Nick, that's way too big. If you have a decent circle that's open to whatever it is that, or are you still keeping some of it for you? Right? Because
I think so.
Your big vision, like, because if you're gonna go share a big vision, you tell the small-minded person, like, you're fucked anyway, right? So,
100%.
but you would even if you have that circle, right? You're like, no, keep some of that for you so that it's yours.
Yes.
Without it getting out there.
Yeah, because let even your close circle, let those people experience that actually happening in your life.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I think there is something, especially in our society now, where we share so much, which on one hand I think is amazing, right? Like it really is. But I think there's something very sacred in keeping certain things just for us.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Because it's also, even, let's say that you know, you have this really great group of people around you, but they want to now talk about this specific thing. And you have one idea of this thing that's really true to you, and they have another idea, because they're an individual and they have their own thoughts and ideas and stuff. And it's not even that it's bad or it's wrong, but now it convolutes this thing that you knew a second ago. You knew this is exactly what I want. And now you start to go, oh, well, you know, maybe Sarah's idea is better than mine. Oh, let me go change that.
Now it's not yours.
Exactly. And I think there's something like really special about keeping it for yourself and allowing people to see the result of you actually fulfilling that vision, rather than you having to talk about it before it's done.
Got it. Okay. And that's also going back to my logical brain thinking that it's already happened because
Yep.
I said X, Y, or Z. And now, especially if you felt it, right? If you felt whatever, if you felt the home run or you felt whatever the thing was, and you're like, oh hey, I'm gonna go do blah, right? Like you still have to go do it. Even if that's, hey guys, we're gonna go, we're gonna have my boat and we're gonna do X, Y, and Z. It'd be way cooler to be like, hey, that's one thing I didn't share with you guys that was on my vision board. Like it's already booked. And I'll see you guys on Thursday and let's go get it.
Yes, it's because now, like, just like you just said, you're not saying like I'm going to, okay, here's what I want, here's what I'm going to do.
Right.
No, like it's done.
Right. Right.
And then
it's
those
already
close
happening.
people in your life, they're going to get to experience those things with you. They're going to see the physical change, or they're going to get to come to your housewarming party, right? Share it after it's happened. Like, and this is something that for me, I've actually had to learn personally, because I've noticed that even when I share things with people that are like in a really great mindsets, like two of my best friends are like on another level. And so it's like sharing with them is like the best people to share it with, but they still just talking about it.
Right.
We're not talking about it like it already happened. We're talking about it like, oh, this is something I want, which is fine.
Right. Right.
But
but it's also now I have somebody else clouding whatever you thought initial thing was, and your however you were going to get there, right? Because you're not sitting there checking off, hey, here are the 17 steps to get there, right? Them bringing in, hey, here's what I think. Like now it's not your vision anymore. Now it's what somebody else thinks. Hey, here's what Kate wants. When in your mind, no, it's this exactly. Here's when it's happening, or here's X, Y, and Z. And then when it happens, you're like, okay, cool, I've been here before. Versus, hey, Kate, what about X, Y, and Z and these two or three other things? And you're like, I don't give a fuck about the logistics of how we get there. I know that I'm getting keys to this place, and my dog and I are chilling in my new car
with balloons, apparently.
Yeah, right. No clue. No idea how we're getting balloons.
Twice,
yeah.
and it hasn't happened again. Like to me, I'm like, this will be going in my little insight list, like that I keep on my phone of like, oh, this little fun thing happened today.
This happened. Cool. Obviously going in the right direction.
Yes, 100%.
How did you get into, obviously there was a bunch of soul searching to figure out, hey, I want to do this feng shui thing. How did Kate Troyer become the feng shui Kate we all know today?
Okay, so what an awesome question. What I think is cool is that the whole searching and stuff actually came more after I found feng shui more than before. So there was a small amount of time before that I think opened me up to this different possibility. And then long story short, feng shui just, did you see that?
It was floating across there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It was definitely like it kind of just fell in my lap, total happenstance. And I ended up reading a chapter of a book about feng shui. I connected with the author so much. She is Tara Catherine Collins. And I was just like, I freaking love this woman. And also I feel like I've been doing feng shui like subconsciously since I was a little kid. Like I grew up in a very chaotic, traumatic household. And my personal space was what I used as a kid to make me feel like I had a normal life.
Right.
It was just my room.
Right. This is my space, and at least if all of the chaos, this is my home.
And if my room looks like a normal kid's room, then like I have a normal family, right?
Gotcha.
And so I kind of, was always into doing things like that in my life. So I have managed a high-end furniture line, and I always was in the past, and I've always been the person that like friends and family for parties or decorating their houses or whatever, like I'd always just assist because it was something I really loved doing. I've always had a really good eye for composition.
Yeah.
And so when Feng Shui kind of fell in my lap, I read a chapter of this book and I'm like, oh, I'm upset. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like I knew in a
This is it.
chapter of a book. Now I
Right.
am also the type of person that like when I know something, like I don't give a fuck. I just
Yeah.
go, I jump
We're
in.
going. We're
Yeah,
going.
we're
Right.
doing it. There's no
Right.
thought, nothing.
No.
Like it's
No,
like,
no,
let's
no.
go.
What is it
So
today, Kate? It's this. We're
yeah,
in. Oh,
exactly.
okay. Shit.
Right. What's so funny is this is the thing that I've, you know, that I've kind of like in my life that I'm thinking about it in real time that I've kind of like stuck with the longest.
Okay.
Right. That, and
Yeah.
it's like it's one, it's endless, but two, it's like I just know it's part of my purpose and like a part of my purpose.
Right.
And I'm so lucky that like it's something that I'm just, you know, totally obsessed with.
Yeah.
So that happens. At the time I had a very successful home staging and design consulting business. Within a week of reading this book, I find out that the author of this book actually has her own school.
Okay.
And after completing or going through like the online training for several months, it ended with a full-on like immersive type training with a teacher in Sedona, which
Okay.
also happened to be very synchronistic. I was literally like the day before talking about going on a trip to Sedona in September of that year. And then literally the
Perfect.
next day, it's like Feng Shui certification, immersive stuff,
Oh,
ends in
that
that
was
makes
this. That
sense,
was you doing
right?
this. That one made sense.
Right. That one made sense. Balloons, we don't know. Um,
You're in
ended
Sedona.
in
Sedona in September.
Sedona in September, right? I
Yeah.
wanted to go, and then that's literally the immersion part of the training was in Sedona in September, and it was
Okay.
over my birthday, which I was like, done
Perfect.
deal. This is meant
Perfect.
to be.
Happy birthday to me. We're gonna write this
Yeah.
right now.
So within a week of reading a couple chapters in this book, I literally am like, okay, done. I'm signing up. I'm going to become a certified practitioner. I decide I'm not taking on any new clients for like 6 months. And I decided to get rid of my entire home staging business. And this is
Nice.
like, I mean, I had probably like 15 houses worth of inventory. Like I was like doing really well for myself. I come home
Right.
from this vacation and my significant other at the time was like, you're doing what? And I was like, this is what I'm
Done. I'm done with this. We're out. Like, what the hell happened?
doing. Yeah, he wasn't.
I read a book. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he wasn't thrilled.
Yeah,
Wasn't thrilled about it.
all good. Well, that's I love that. How long ago was that from hey, I'm
That
moving
was
into
almost 3 years ago.
okay. Okay.
So I've had my own business now. I'm going into my sixth year, or sixth year or seventh year, one of the two. But so I've been doing design consulting and everything like that. I've had for, you know, at least 6 years now professionally.
Right.
And so, yeah, we're going into the third year of Feng Shui, which is
Okay.
pretty exciting and awesome. And, you know, that's kind of how I found myself here. It found me. And then I said, oh
Right.
my God, like, this is just, I just feel this in my knowing, like, this is part of what I'm supposed to be doing. And the other thing that I personally love about it is just that it's like, it's this endless rabbit hole for me. Like,
Right.
I can literally insert feng shui into any conversation. I can literally feng shui anything, a desk, a car, an RV, a bookshelf, a wall, a home, like it doesn't matter. And I'm constantly thinking about how, you know, it's relating back to your life. So for anybody that is like, oh, cool, Kate, like that's how you got into feng shui. What the fuck is that? You know, right? Like, thanks for telling us, but we still don't know what the hell you do or what it is. So feng shui, and it's the way I like to describe it is that feng shui is just the awareness and the practice that your home is a mirror of you, of your internal energy. It is an extension of you. So anything that has gone on in your past, is currently going on in your present, or you expect to go on in your future, you can also see it in your space. Like
Gotcha.
it's literally
right.
there.
Yeah, this is have you seen Limitless?
Mm-hmm.
Where he takes the pill and then he goes ham on the apartment and cleans the shit out of everything. And he's like, okay,
Yes.
cool, we're starting over.
Yep.
How give me a feng shui 101. How often should I be throwing shit out, Kate?
All the time.
Daily.
Well, I mean, it depends. I think so here's what I would say is, you know how you just get those like feelings like I want to clean my space today, or
Yeah.
I just feel like I want to get rid of shit.
Yep.
Go with that, with your
Okay.
intuition, because it's
Right.
to me, it's like my home is always kind of prepping me for what's coming up in my life next. And
Sure.
I have no idea what is happening, but if I'm paying attention, it'll give me clues. And so to me, whenever I get that intuitive nudge to like get rid of shit, deep clean my space, declutter, whether it's my whole house, whether it's one closet, no matter what it is, that to me is my home giving me a clue of like, hey, we need to create space because we've got new things coming in, right? So it's like, what is it? Is that the law of vacuum? One of the universal law, the law of vacuum, where if you have an empty space, like the universe wants to fill it, right? Like it wants
100%.
to be filled. So if you look around your home and let's say that like your home is clean and kept, but there is literally something in every corner, on every single wall, and even if it's organized, right? But you have no room for anything, to come and go. To me, that's a problem. You need some negative space, right?
Right.
And so I just think when you get that intuitive nudge to get rid of things, to move things around, like maybe it's like, oh, I want to move around my bedroom, I want to rearrange my office, like do that, because that's you. Like I said, you're directly connected with your space. It's just an extension of your energy, or the people that live in the home, their energy. So it's really like you doing something for you. It's like and I found a lot too that like with my clients, especially the ones that like don't trust their intuition very well, when they learn this practice, it really, and it's like I give them permission to like go with their intuition, they become so much more connected with themselves, because they're like, I got the nudge to do this today, and then I did it, and then 2 weeks later happened. Right.
Yeah.
Like, oh, wow, that's amazing.
Right. And that's not a jump kick either, right? That's your friend at the bar that's not going to go talk to the girl, and I'm not going to go kick him, right? But I'm just going to give you the two pokes in the back of the shoulder, and you're like, okay, cool. I now have permission to go do whatever the thing is. And I'm assuming the more they do it, the more they feel that in the future, hey, this is what, okay, cool, I need to go do whatever the thing is.
Yes.
And now it's a repetition, because hey, I did it once. Hey, I've got this feeling again. Why? Okay, cool. Let's go do whatever. Clean up the spot. Go talk to whoever. Or go do whatever the next thing is.
Yeah, and that's why it really is a practice, right? It's like yoga. Like you don't just do yoga once and you're like, my body, I have a yoga body, right? And I know all about yoga. Like, no, it's a continued practice. And Feng Shui is the same. And it's really amazing. I would say that like that increased connection to self and increased intuition are two of the biggest things that I not only have seen in my life, but I've seen in clients' lives. And it was when I started this journey, that was definitely not something that I expected from a Feng Shui practice, right? But but the intuition, the connecting back to self that I see with people is just so cool, because you're right. It's like I give them permission, and then it starts to become a pattern because they're practicing it. Ooh, well, okay, I did this once. Kate told me I could do that, whatever. I saw positive benefits from it, or I just felt so good afterwards. And then when it hits them again, they're like, oh, I knew how good that felt afterwards. Or I saw, X, Y, and Z happen in my physical reality. And so like, of course I'm going to do it again. So I think that's a big part of it. And so like, I like to say to people this, Because something that I hear often is like, okay, well, I've heard about Feng Shui or read about Feng Shui, and I started to kind of study it and get into it, but then I got so confused and overwhelmed because there's like all these rules and blah 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 blah. That's
Yeah,
not how I practice. One, that's not how I practice Feng Shui, and it's not the type of certification I have. But
sure.
two, like you should never, there's nothing that you're gonna fuck up. Like it's your house, right? And if
Right,
you're
right.
listening to
Just move
yourself,
it back. Just move it back. If you hate it, move the shit back. Oh
you
no.
move it. Ew, that looks awful there. Okay, move it somewhere else. Move it
Cool.
back.
Right. Right.
So I always tell people the first thing, like the easiest way that they could start their own feng shui practice at home with literally no other resources, without working with someone, with just, I want to like start to look at my house differently. I want to play around with this feng shui thing that Kate's talking about.
Yeah.
Is look around your home, just maybe start with one room and notice what makes you feel good and what makes you feel bad. And everything that makes you feel bad should go. I don't care how expensive it is. I don't care who gave it to you. I don't care if you don't have the money to replace it. If it makes you feel bad, it should go, because we talked about our home as an extension of our energy, right? So if we think about, there's all these things in our home that are making us feel bad. What's the energy that we're constantly surrounding ourselves with? And what's the energy that we're constantly allowing ourselves to be comfortable with feeling bad?
Right. Right. Right.
So if
And
you
that's
want
and
to do
that's not
nothing
a
else,
right. And that's not if you have a significant other and you go do this right now just because Kate said, hey, go do this, she
just
is not
blame it on
liable
me.
for any of your relationship issues that happen when you go throw out whatever that thing is.
Yeah,
So
call me. I'll talk to your husband about it. Don't worry. I'll
there you go.
I'll get him to understand why it needed to go. I do it all the time.
Good
You know
shit.
what's so funny is like, so that's like when I do consults, I always want the couple, like even if the typically women are the majority of my audience, right, or the majority of my clients, but it's really cool when their husbands will get involved, because they actually get really into it, because not hearing it from their wife and hearing it from me, they're so much more open. So like literally their wife could be telling them that they need, like, you know, honey, this, like, you don't even like blah blah blah, and they're like, oh no, I gotta keep it. But then I come in and I dig a little bit deeper. I'm like, oh, Terry, tell me about this art you have here. Just tell me about it. He's like, oh, well, you know, I got it from my great grandpa. He was kind of an asshole and da da da, but it's like really expensive. It's been in our family for years. I'm like, how does it make you feel? You know, when you look at it, well, it really makes you think of my grandpa, and like, honestly, just brings back memories of, you know, being a kid and he was angry all the time and da da da. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So do you think that that's like, so when you look at that, does it kind of make you like upset and feel angry? And they're like, oh my God, I guess it does. I'm like, oh, do you think you want to keep that in your space?
Right.
Do you,
No, we should
like,
throw
you know
that
what I
out.
mean? And they're like, no. But
And the
think
wife's
about
sitting there
it.
jumping up and down, screaming, "Why did you listen to her? What the fuck?" Got it.
Yeah,
No, it's
I
perfect.
will say that like there are times where like the wives and I have like a pre-conversation, like, is there anything that like really doesn't feel good, or vice versa,
Right,
right?
100%,
Because it's
100%.
easier to hear it from an outside party, and especially someone that's like an expert in it. But
Right.
you know, and it's so much different for them to be in that moment, to have that conversation with me, rather than me having that conversation with their significant other and then they try and relay that.
Right,
Because
exactly.
then they just think, oh, you're just saying this because you've always wanted, you know, me
I
to
don't
get
want you
rid
to
of it
sell
or
me. I
whatever.
want to have that other person in the room. You ask the right questions, and oh, hey, now this thing's gone. Well, of course it is. It should have been gone however long ago.
Exactly.
Got it. How do you balance if that thing is really expensive? Or am I selling it? Am I throwing it out? Is it just out of the space? Do you care, or do you just care that it's no longer there?
I think it needs to go completely. So to me, like, not being in the space that it's in, but you're like, oh, I'll just store it in the garage. You're still holding its energy.
I'm just gonna hold on to this assholeness for no reason.
So it needs to go. So here's what I will say is, I will tell people that they can throw it away or sell it. It's totally up to them. if it has really bad energy, like if I feel like it has bad energy, and again, this really depends on the client and their openness and, you
Yeah.
know, just different things.
Right.
I will usually encourage them, like, this needs to like go. Like, why would you sell this to someone else?
Yeah.
You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right.
But there are things all the time that, like, let's say stuff from a divorce is a huge one, right?
Sure.
And this is something I personally went through after, you know, a breakup that I had earlier this year, where I ended up, like, you know, after living in my new place for 9 months, fully furnished and looking like, you know, on point and beautiful, I sold most of my stuff because I was like, ew, this holds all of the
Right.
energy from my old life. And
Right.
I don't want that. I want new stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So I see this with like divorce a lot, where it's like there's not that there's anything wrong. It's not holding bad energy in general, but it's holding bad energy from memories, from trying to hold on to this person that you used to be. And so it's not fitting for you, but it would be more than fitting for someone else, right?
Right. Right. Because
So
they don't have the feeling of the emotional attachment to it.
yeah, exactly. To
Right.
them, it's just a pretty picture that they saw, you know, on Facebook Marketplace or whatever,
Right.
and was like, "Oh my god, I want to bring that into my space."
Right.
You know,
Right.
so that's what I think. There's like, but then I do come across certain things where I'm like, "Oh my god, like this." A good friend of mine, I did a consult at his place, and I was like, "Tell me about this artwork." You know, it was like
Yeah.
it creeped me out. I did not like it. And he ended
Gotcha.
up being like, you know, I only buy art that makes me uncomfortable, and I look at it until I feel like okay about it. And I was like, and
That's
it totally
that's not
related
it at all.
to something that we talked about though that came up in his personal life a lot. Like he was struggling in relationships and work because he, you know, typically was seeing that you know, he's very empathic and had trauma in his childhood. And so he kind of allows close relationships in his life to not be positive to him because he can step back and say, oh, I see why you're acting like this. So I just need to be okay with it. Right. Because I'm aware and you're not.
Right.
And,
Right.
you know, so I'm going to allow you to treat me like this because I understand it, even though it makes me feel bad. And I was like,
Right. Absolutely not.
hello, you're
Run. Sprint the other
reinforcing,
way. Yeah.
you're
Right.
reinforcing this belief with all of this artwork in your home. And he was
Right.
like, oh my God, I am.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you can keep it, you can get rid of it. But in my opinion,
Yeah.
anything that you feel that way about or have ever felt that way about,
Right.
get it the fuck
Get
out
rid
of
of it.
here.
I love it.
Needs to
I love
go.
it. Kate, where can everybody find you
Yeah.
to help declutter or just live that life that they want to live?
Yeah, so you can go to my website, which is homesliceliving.com. And you'll see there I've got guides that you can download. We have an online community. You can obviously work with me one on one. And that's literally, I have literally right now, I have clients all over the world. And probably 85% of my client base is virtual.
Okay.
Yep. So if you are looking to work one-on-one, just go to my website and you'll see details there and how you can get in touch with me and a little bit about what we offer. I also teach different workshops and I do speaking engagements all the time as well. If you are on TikTok and Instagram, you can follow me at fengshui.kate, and feng shui is spelled FENGSHUI for anyone
We'll
who
link
doesn't
we'll link
know.
it all below, everybody. We'll
Yeah,
link it
we'll
all
link it
below.
below, but that's where you can, you know, kind of find all of my stuff. I would say I'm probably most active on TikTok, but
Okay.
whichever one kind of suits your fancy. And then I also have a podcast called the Home Slice Living Podcast, where, you know, if that's kind of more your form to soak up information, you can listen to that as well.
Love it. I love it. Kate, thanks for coming on and telling your story. It was awesome. And obviously we'll be in touch in the future.
Yes, thanks for having me. Have a good night, Nick.
For sure. You too.
Bye.